Solana, I think, is I wrote an article about this weekend. I've been looking at it, wasn't sure what to do with it, and then I think it's the ETH of this cycle.
Welcome to Crypto Revolution. Crypto experts are zooming in on altcoins as some of the best investing opportunities they're seeing outside of Bitcoin. Altcoins are cryptocurrencies other than Bitcoin, which share characteristics with it, but also vary from it in different ways. For example, some altcoins use a different consensus mechanism to produce blocks or validate transactions, or they differ from Bitcoin by providing new or additional capabilities such as smart contracts or low-price volatility. Some of the main types of altcoins include mining-based cryptocurrencies, stablecoins, security tokens, and utility tokens. Some argue that altcoins are better versions than Bitcoins because they aim to address Bitcoin's shortcomings. In this interview done with Raoul Pal on Bitboy Crypto, they discuss the altcoins that are set to make huge gains. Raoul discusses Cardano, XRP, and Solana, and gives his thoughts on each of these cryptocurrencies. Watch to the end of the video to know which one he thinks is the Ethereum killer.
But in this video, I want to get dialed into altcoins and your thoughts. Now, we're going to be talking about some specific altcoins today. We're going to be talking about Cardano, XRP, Solana, and we may bring some other ones up. But before we get too much into that, I want to know, what is your overall kind of overlook of the altcoin market right now?
So how I think about it is, when you start a bull market, you own Bitcoin, then you start overweighting ETH, and then what happens is everything that's riskier starts going up more. So these are things that are earlier in their adoption cycle, and then the super risky stuff like NFTs. So that's how bull markets always work. So what I did is I said, listen, I'm going to own some Bitcoin and some ETH, and I, over time, have moved more of my allocation to ETH. But I bought a basket of stuff. I said, I don't know whether Polkadot, Cardano, Solana, whatever's going to outperform. So I just did a basket equally weighted. And then I've been watching it. And so it's done really well. I put it on the beginning of the year. It's up, I don't know, 150% or so. And now I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to start concentrating the bets in the ones that I think in this last quarter, where I think the big bull market lies. Those outperformers are the ones you really want to back.
What is your thought about Cardano from, a functional standpoint and also a price standpoint?
So, we've had Charles Hoskinson a few times on Real Vision. I like the project. I think it's very interesting. We really need to see more network adoption.
Yeah.
So it's early stage for me still. So, the price is going up. It's doing well. There's a big community behind it. So that gives you one side of the network. We need to see more use cases outside of the Ethiopia case that's being talked about a lot. So, I own some, and I'm just waiting to see, really, is it going to start getting a lot of traction, people building stuff on it? I know people are waiting for the smart contract side. So, maybe it's not the biggest outperformer in this cycle. But, if it survives this cycle and continues to get adoption, it'll probably do very well in the next cycle. I own it because there's a lot of investors in it, and if the ecosystem builds out, it's going to do incredibly well. And as you say, maybe it rallies into that, as everyone knows smart contracts is the issue. So that's everybody knows. So therefore, when smart contracts come out, it's kind of like, okay, well, that's what we've been waiting for. We know it's coming. It's like the ETH 2.0. We know it's coming. There's too many smart people working on it for it not to happen. So I agree. I think you're right. It probably goes up significantly into that event. I think we totally agree with each other. XRP is a great risk reward, right? The lawsuit, we've seen every lawsuit, every single one has been a fine.
Everyone.
A slap on the wrist, because everybody's actually cleared up after the event anyway. And these were a while ago, BitMEX, that's happening. We're going to see all of this. So I think it's going to be a slap on the wrist, that it could have looked like a security. There'll be no admission of guilt on either side. There'll be a payment of a fine, and then XRP is free to run. What's interesting about XRP is there is quite a lot of use cases. Now, I know a bunch of Bitcoin people hate it. It's not decentralized enough. I don't care. It's, are people using it? Yes, a lot more than most people realize. And what's amazing about this setup is you can't buy us on any of the exchanges. And it's not in the Bitwise ETF. The Bitwise ETF is now $1 billion. The Bitwise index is, the top 10 index is $1 billion. So the moment XRP is freed, they have to buy a few $100 million of it, as everybody else can, because the exchanges will have it back. So you're setting up for a hell of a nice run if this clears up. Worst case, it doesn't. Worst case is, let's say 50% downside. Best case is 10x from here. So I'll take a 50-to-1 risk reward for the next 3 to 6 months. Solana, I think, is I wrote an article about this weekend. I've been looking at it, wasn't sure what to do with it, and then I think it's the ETH of this cycle.
Wow.
Remember the ETH of the last, ETH was the one that became the big new thing. I think it's this, because the pedigree of all the people involved in it, the speed of adoption is ridiculous. I mean, it's growing faster than ETH did at that point in the cycle. The number of application, the ecosystem it's like, somebody just sent me a chart of the ecosystem. There's like 300 people already working with Solana. It's like, okay, this is real. And this is happening at a speed none of us can get our heads around. It's kind of like everybody wanted Cardano to happen. Is that actually happening in Solana right now? As you say, doesn't mean Cardano doesn't over time, but Solana looks like it's going to win this, this cycle as being the standout coin that becomes a major.
Yeah, someone was asking me right now if I'd rather invest in Solana or Cardano. Now we own a bunch of both, obviously. But if I were new and I were trying to choose which one, I would have to go with Cardano right now for the rest of this bull run, because Solana's just pumped so hard, so much. Like you said, it's already like one of the ones.
If it's the chosen one, it'll outperform all the way through. That's what you did last time, right? It's like it becomes unbuyable.
So what other coins? What coins could we be looking at? Do you think that could be the next Solana or the next Cardano? Or any other coins you
I've kind of like, I own a bunch of DeFi stuff and I'm not that interested in it. It'll go up, and it's interesting because it's great. They're disrupting the financial system, but I've been in the finance system for 30 years, so I don't really want to invest in another new finance system. So really what I've got interested in is community tokens. That I think is going to be the big one. And I don't think it's going to be the big one for this cycle. I think it's going to be the thing, look back in 5 years time and go, oh my God, there was zero chance you will not tokenize your community. There's zero chance Real Vision will not tokenize. There's zero chance Disney will not tokenize its franchises, and maybe Disney itself. There's Facebook is already tokenizing via VM. So right now there's only 1 or 2 platforms to buy, and one of them is Rally. The other one is Chili's, which is tokenizing soccer clubs and sports teams. So there's not actually much there. So if you want to express your view, those are the platforms. We'll get more over time as other people. Flow is probably another one, the Dapper Labs product, Flow. So that's where I really think you can find bargains. I mean, Rally's $150 million. If communities really start going, some of these communities are, what's the community of Disney worth? I mean,
insane to think about.
Maybe $100 billion. What's Rally worth then? 150 million.
Do the math.
So some of this will be straight on different protocols. Some of them will be on this. So those are my kind of smaller tips on the side.
Raoul Pal thinks it's the ETH of this cycle. In this interview, he shares it is the next big thing thanks to the pedigree of those involved in it, the speed of adoption, the number of applications, the ecosystem, and it's growing faster than ETH did at that point in the cycle. What do you think about what he had to say about XRP, Cardano, and especially Solana? Do you agree with him? Do you think Solana truly wins the cycle and is the Ethereum killer? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. That's it for this video. If you enjoyed this content, do click on like, and we hope you can subscribe to the channel so we can always keep you updated on cryptocurrencies. Till the next video, this is Crypto Revolution.